Finally, got a nice whitetail. I let him set for about two and a half hours actually. I made a little bit longer shot. It was about 37 to 40 yards. So it's been a long season. I've hunted a little bit, not a ton. I'll get out and I'll show you guys a little bit about where he hit the dirt here. I was sitting over there in that redneck. You can see it right there in that tree right there. You can see the redneck over there. It was right about 7:45 to 8 this morning, and I actually had a doe snort at me. He was close to me and I couldn't move, and a doe snorted, and just so happens he got spooky and he was gonna leave, and I didn't know how far he was. I just knew he wasn't 20 yards, and so I had to readjust because I've got a single pin on my bow. Just so happened I drew and he stopped just before going behind a cedar tree, and I knew he was quite a ways, and I just put her where I thought, shot, and I saw the knock, my lighted knock, disappear, so I knew I drilled him. And he took off running. He was running straight west, and his tail started just going crazy, and his back end was giving out a little bit. He went about 70 yards, and then he turned and ran straight into the wind, and that's usually probably a good sign. So I watched him, and he went about 150 yards, and then I seen him disappear, and I'm like, man, oh man, I would have thought he would have dropped. But it was 1 degree this morning with wind chill. It's probably 10 to 15 below zero, and they were moving this morning. I wasn't in the redneck very long, but here's where he jumped right through here, and he crashed right here. So trying to track this thing, but he went right down here, and then he started curving over to these trees, and he's right over here. I called this buck Whitey because his face is so white. But like I said, I let him set for over 2 hours because I wasn't 100% sure where my arrow hit. It come out right here. He was quartering away from me, and he was between 37 and 40 yards. He's a heck of a buck. I'm very excited, if you can't tell anyway, but I would say he's fairly old just because his face is just so white, and that's what was so unique about this buck. I saw him on the hoof several times this season. I had him at about 63 yards once, and I was like, oh yeah, he's got a heck of a frame on him. I guessed him somewhere in the 170s. He doesn't have hardly anything for deduction. He's just an absolute beauty. So we'll put the tape to him. I'm thinking he's right at 170, somewhere right in there. But heck of a buck. 1 degree this morning. I had one more day left on my tag, and got it done on my own property. That's what's so cool about this. Last year, my brother Jeff, he arrowed a 165. His son arrowed a 171. Just an absolute beauty of a buck. I'm just elated. I'm glad all of you are joining in. I hope all of you have a very, very happy new year. And I'm going to start mine on a good note, I think, now. So just a beauty, absolute beauty.